Shalom. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, pushing this doctrine of truth to the elect of the nation of Israel, who were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, pursuant to the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Alright, I wanted to do a quick response lesson to this video I came across concerning the draft, which we know is an inevitability here in Babylon the Great. The men of Babylon the Great are going to go off to war to partake in World War III. This is Bible prophecy. Now, I'm not going to play this particular video because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So I watched the first 15 minutes of it, and just listening to these Babylonians, if you will, complain about why they don't want to go fight in this war. And this is all biblical prophecy, because rewind back to World War I and II, and these Edomites viewed it as, viewed fighting in the war or serving in the military as one's civic duty. Okay, now fast forward to 2026, and the sentiment of these Edomites is completely different. Okay, they don't want to go and fight. They don't want to serve their country. Okay, a lot of them see behind the ruse of these politicians, being paid off or on the payroll of the small hats, carrying out their wicked deeds, and people are starting to take notice. They see what they're doing, so these upper echelon elites are being exposed. And that's why people are rebelling and refusing to go fight. Well, if they refuse to partake in World War III, then they're going to prison. And, it's actually punishable by death if you don't, if you refuse to go and fight in a war. Okay? The ultimate penalty is death, and that's a fact. I'm pretty sure that's still in effect. Alright? But it just brings to mind the first precept here, Jeremiah chapter 51:30. And it reads, "The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight." And this is pretty sarcastic here, because again, these men are not mighty at all. They're not powerful. They're actually quite passive, and a lot of them are pretty soft. Okay, soft as marshmallows. But they forborne to fight. They don't want any part of it. They have remained in their holes. Their might hath failed. Okay? There is no might in these men in Babylon the Great here. They're more concerned about playing a PlayStation, video games, okay, being on social media, subscribing to OnlyFans. They don't want to do anything to help or to serve their country. They don't want to participate in any war, fight for the ideals of this country, because that's what it's all about. Now, we as Israelite men, we refuse, because this is we have no dog in this fight. Okay, and I refuse to lay down my life for a country that despises me. Okay, and that's the sentiment of all the Israelites. Okay, and not to say that I never served before. I did serve many years ago. I did 4 years and got out, but that was a mistake. and call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, I decided to get out after my 4 years were up. Okay, let's read that again. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might hath failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Okay, so it likened the mighty men of Babylon the Great to women. Okay, and we know women are averse to any type of physical conflict. Okay, you're not going to see a lot of women signing up for the draft. Okay, or registering for selective service, because that's not what a woman is created to do. Okay, you're going to see a lot of these women here in Babylon the Great revert to being very, 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 very feminine women. Okay, and they're going to become that way because that's the only way to attract the man. Okay, but what they don't realize is once this war kicks off, the vast majority of the men are going to be either shipped over there to the so-called Middle East, which is actually Western Asia, and they're not coming back. So how is that going to affect the population here? Well, you're going to have a lot more females here in Babylon the Great than men. Okay? And these women are going to be desperate to find a man during those days. This is all Bible prophecy. Okay? Let's get one or two more scriptures. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Now, the virgins are women. Okay? It's just another way of saying young woman. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Okay, this is very telling, because at some point, like I said, when this war kicks off, and all nations are pretty much involved, are the major players, let's say that. You know, Babylon the Great, Russia, Turkey, China, Iran, you know, Britain, Great Britain. They're all going to meet in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, okay, according to Scripture. And that's where it's all going to go down. You know, but even before that point, you're going to have a lot of men just being killed off. Okay? And there's obviously judgment by the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. But this is also judgment for the women of Babylon the Great, because they're not going to have any protection. They're not going to have a man to protect them in the home front. And if they have children, these women are going to be sitting ducks. Okay? And this is judgment, because a lot of these women drank the Kool-Aid, that feminism Kool-Aid, and were convinced that they didn't need a man. They can raise children on their own. And yeah, it's going to be a hell of an end for a lot of these women here that decided to forego marriage or a relationship with their children's father. Okay, I mean, it's a cultural thing now, and it just seems like the vast majority of women think it's okay to bring kids into this world, you know, without having a father. Okay, a good role model, a protector, a provider. They don't care. Just goes to show you that demons are on these women, because they're gone. They can't see the forest for the trees. At any rate, let's go to the book of Joel, because it talks about how the nations are going to be judged. As you can read here in the title, the nations will be judged. Let's start at verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down to the valley, into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's actually Yahweh Shaphat. And will plead with them there for my people Israel, and for my heritage, or Salakia. Well, them there will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Okay? And that's what this is all about. This is all about what the heathens did to the Israelites. And they're going to pay for it here in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. That's why the Lord assembled all these nations in this particular area at this time, because he's going to judge them. Okay? They're going to be destroyed for Israel's sake. Okay? And this is a beautiful thing. Let's jump down to verse 19. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood. Okay? So it's all going to culminate here in this area, in this region, the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right? And the heathen nations will be judged. And our captivity is going to be rescinded. Okay? Well, the Lord's going to come back to deliver us from these horrible chains of darkness and the rulership of the heathen. All right, so we're in some exciting times. It's a beautiful, wonderful time to be alive, to see the fall of our enemy. Okay? At any rate, Lord's will, this was edifying. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.